Hello and welcome. I'm Adri Gregan, and I'm back for Frieren Beyond Journey's End. Today we're getting into episode 18 of season 1, and last time we started our new core officially 17 episodes into the season. Though the season I believe is like 28 episodes, so I suppose that leaves a solid 11 episode core ahead of us. I guess it's just the first core was just long enough. I am a little bit curious as to why, though. I haven't really looked into it, but it kind of struck me as sort of odd placing to start the new core. This episode, acting like I've seen it before, this episode seems like a more fitting start of the core since this is after we parted ways with Zine. But I don't know, maybe there was a specific reason for why they decided to change it last time. Or maybe there wasn't. Maybe it was just they had to do it at some point and they decided to do it then. But it seems like for a show as intentional as Frieren, there has to be some sort of reason. So perhaps it's something that I'm just overlooking. Regardless, whatever the reason for it, I'm very glad they did. I adore the first opening and even the first ending. They're iconic and incredible and perfect for the show. But as somebody who loves Haru as one of his all-time favorite songs, the new opening is just an absolute joy. It somehow exceeded my expectations despite how high those expectations were set. And then when the ED came and it came in with a new verse and a different mix of different parts of the song to bring over like a climactic second version of the song for this second core, I was not ready for it. And it is just, the opening and ending have just blown me away. And yet, not to be outdone, JJK season 3 came in with its own masterful ED, and now I can't decide which one I like more. I really can't. I think they're both incredible in their own rights, so I'm not going to waste time comparing them. At least not now. I'll be talking about them more in depth in my stream this Saturday. I'm going to make streams a weekly part of my schedule, and I'll probably start doing them at, I'm thinking 1 p.m. Central Time every Saturday, and that's kind of what I'm thinking going forward. So if you'd like to hear my full thoughts, like a longer breakdown of the openings and endings of JJK season 3 as well as Frieren's season 1 core 2, I suppose, yeah, go ahead and hop by Saturday and I'll see you on stream. Now, with all that out of the way, though, let's talk about last episode, because I'm making it seem like the opening and ending were the only things that were worthy of note in that episode, and that could not be further from the truth. Continuing the trend of not wanting to be outdone, the episode itself shined so bright that even if the opening ending hadn't changed, I think it still would be one of, if not my favorite episodes of the show so far. As it stands, I think it definitely is, and I think it's by a pretty large margin. It's my favorite episode. It's absolutely phenomenal. The thematic threads connecting the two vignettes, despite the first one, us saying goodbye to Zine, which would be normally a episode ending event, makes it feel so cohesive and so engaging that a lot of the vignettes in this show haven't done. Admittedly, the episode before last also had that very strongly, especially with Old Man Vol. That was also incredible, and the thematic through lines of like memory were certainly worthy of note. But this time there was just so much. There was the idea of acting like a kid and treating people like children or adults, kind of blurring that line between perception of age, basically, which is, of course, closely tied with the overall theme of the show, with the perception of time. Then there's also the passing the torch, where people are doing kindness in the way that was done to them. Effectively, I was helped in this way, so I'm going to do it to you. Whether it's Frieren being Zine's reason for journeying, as Himmel determined himself to be Frieren's, or whether it was Himmel's mom holding Himmel's hand, so Himmel held Frieren's hand, so Frieren held Fern's hand. There's just so much of this passing down of the torch and trying to do good that was done to you, which is so inherent to us doing good that I really liked it. I found it a phenomenal episode, which I guess isn't as popular as an opinion as I'd want it to be, because interestingly enough, that reaction is probably one of my worst performing reactions of late. Don't get me wrong, it didn't perform badly by any means, stretch the imagination, but whether it's like comments, just overall views, or like anything, like people didn't really seem to care much for it, so they didn't really watch it, which is a little bit of a shame to me. It seems that not everyone, or a large part of the audience, didn't really appreciate the episode as much as I did. So maybe it's just that the episode hit me particularly well, and that's why I enjoyed it so much, which is fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It is, at the end of the day, art, and art is, of course, subjective. So I'm just gonna take that as a sign that the episode's even more dear to me, in the sense that it wasn't universally beloved, and that's just gonna make it even more special to me. But that's enough talking about the last episode. Let's look towards the future. Let's see what this episode has in store for us, episode 18. And we're going to get into it. Now, if you do enjoy the video, please do remember to leave a like and leave a comment about something that either I said or something in the episode that you wanted to build off of. It really helps me out, and it shows the algorithm that people are engaging with it, so it'll show it to more people and we can build out this community even more. If you want to see the unaltered reaction, that will be on my Patreon. It's available for $2, all of my unaltered reactions. However, the episode discussion will still be on YouTube, so make sure you come back here if you do that. And of course, finally, if you want to help yourself out, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. It lets you get notified whenever I release these or my JJK series, which for the next week or two will be 3 times a week. But after that, I'll be settling into my new schedule, and you can check that out. Excuse me, you can check that out in the poll video I did a few days ago. And speaking of, I do have a poll ongoing, so if you join Patreon, you get bonus votes. If you don't have money to spare, or if you're just new here, then go ahead and just check out the poll. Everyone's able to participate, and you can vote on what show will replace JJK in the coming weeks. It'll only be up for maybe another week or so. I'll probably be closing it Saturday, so if you haven't already voted, go ahead and do that. But I'm going to put all that YouTuber housekeeping out of the way for now, and we're going to hop into Frieren Season 1, Episode 18. Oh my god, I was not... Even though I just spent all that time talking about the new opening, I was still expecting the Yusha to start playing. Oh, I'm suddenly in my happy place. I am suddenly in my happy place. Oh, it's such a comfortable song. And there don't seem to be a whole lot of new characters in this opening, which is nice. It's not just trying to overwhelm us with new stuff, but there is plenty of new stuff. Especially that elf that we still haven't met. It was teased in the last opening, but we never saw it. Oh, the animation's so beautiful. Of course it is, right? Of course it is, but I can never say it enough, so I'll never stop saying it. Oh, the shift from the old party to the new party. It's so good. It's so good. First class mage exam. Ooh. Oh, we're here. Oyster. Oyster? Still don't know quite how to pronounce it. I was told to pronounce it oysters, except the T goes at the end, so oyster. I guess it's oyster. Okay, so you need to be certified to go. They're just gonna replace it with another one. Is that the elf that we see in the opening? She's a first class. I don't know if it's a she. Could be a boy for all I know. Yeah, there's prestige, but Frieren doesn't seem like the type to care. Probably because it's really dangerous. Yeah. I mean, to be competent, it's like Victory Road in Pokemon.
貴重な熟練の魔法使いを要求するってことは、北部高原では相当厄介なことが起こっているんだろうね。
Yeah, if only a handful have that certification, then that's pretty serious.
フェルンの話だと実践もあるみたいだし、対策を考えないと。
フリーレン様の魔力ならどんな試験内容でも余裕なんじゃないですか。
As long as it's a test of strength.
でも熟練のローマ法使いくらいの魔力が出ていますよ。
ローマ法使いっていうの？
ああ、すねちゃったぞ。ローマ法使いはさすがにひどいんじゃないか。
すみませんでした。
I guess she is still a woman at the end of the day. Oh, the little ear twitch. You're not off the hook either. Oh my god, a pouting Frieren. That's new. Maybe she's taking after. Not a good view.
どうしたんだ。
空が半分しか見えない。
I didn't need a reminder of that. Gotta wash my eyes out with a water spell. Yeah, it's a lot more than strength. Which, I mean, you're really competent, so... Lost 11 times. I mean, a life that long, that's not very many times, but... Probably the one in the opening. Lost to humans, wow. Oh, it's finally time. I've been waiting to meet this girl so long. Come on. Is it the certification where I've seen that scene? Or like slicing someone in half? Oh my god. People always need an antagonist. Oh. Oh hey. How have you been, Mr. Ancient Hero? Didn't expect to see him so soon. Craft. I wonder if that means we're gonna see him again in the city. Youre, okay. God, those eyes. Mm-hmm. It's the slight narrowing. Ooh. Dang. It's not my business. Yeah. Ooh, little gem at the end of it. I wonder if that's used for magic, or if it's just a lucky charm. So we won't be seeing her, looks like. Or we won't be seeing him. Once every 3 years. Makes sense. Oh my god. Just hire one, we'll just find one. Better yet, we'll just find the winner and just bribe them. I mean, convince them to join us. I had a feeling. And who is that? I haven't seen this since I was a little boy. I was like 7 years old back then.
無事参加できそうだね。まさかまだこれを知っている人がい
It
たなんて。
actually worked.
それすごいものなんですか？
その
It
は
used
ず
to
なん
be.
だけどね。
フリーレンは魔法使いギルドには入ってないんだな。
魔法を管理
You
する
probably see how the change in development of the city too,
いちい
of
ち
the
そんなの
town.
に入ってらんないよ。
Yeah.
それに
Can't be
私には
bothered.
これがあるから。正常の証、すごいでしょ。
何この錆びた首飾り。
Oh my god, even 80 years ago they didn't know what it was? Even the dwarf doesn't know.
そう。
So it was already outdated
これ
back
だけが
then.
私が魔法使いであることの証だったんだけどな。
フリーレン、確かに僕たちはその首飾りのことは知らない。でも僕たちは君がすごい魔法使いであることを知っている。
We don't need proof of that. And she took that a little bit more to heart than she needs to. I like how it's like wrapped around her pigtails too.
フリーレン様。私たちはフリーレン様が
Aw, and they're saying basically the same line. It's enough for us. The show can be a little bit on the nose with like these repeating lines from the past and the present. It's a little on the nose with them, but it's fine.
5級から一人前と呼ばれているみたいだね。フェルンはなんで3級を
Becomes a
取ったの？
proper mage.
一番試験の日程が近かったからです。
5級以上の魔法使いの総数が600人。見習いの6
Dang.
級から9級を含めても全体で2000人か。
It's from 600 to like,
9級は45人。
oh, there are 45 that are first class.
ボイサーストの北
That's a decent number.
生とシュトラールの本部の2カ所で
I mean, it's less than 10%, but
合格者が出ない年も多い。当たり前のように死傷者も出ている。それなりの難関。
serious. As it should be.
魔法使いもだいぶ数が減ったね。
昔はもっと多かったんですか？
魔王軍の構成が激化した100年前だったら、街を歩けば魔法使いとすれ違うのが当たり前。
Yeah, we needed a lot more. Now in times of peace, there's less of a need, mainly just for like bandits and monsters, I
じゃあ1ヶ月
imagine.
後に備えて、みっちり修行しようか。
Feels like it's been a while since we've seen that magic. The grainy effect never ceases to get me. Of course, the show continues having its gigantic foods. That cake that Frieren could have hidden herself in. Practicing their flying too, yeah.
これより
Okay.
一級魔法使い選抜試
First
験を
test
行う。
Proctor Genau.
今年はなかなか粒揃いですな。長年にわたり魔王軍の残党と戦ってきた北部魔法隊隊長の
Oh,
リアベル
wow.
2級魔法使い。指導の
Decorated.
権力争いに勝ち抜き、宮廷魔法使いの座についた海戦山戦の老快さを持つ電剣2級魔法使い。史上
Jeez.
最年少で3級試験をトップの成績
The youngest mage to receive a third class certification with top marks. Well, I mean, I guess she is like, what, 17? Guess she would be noticed. Ubel. Ubel. Failed. When she killed the first class. Personality issues. Troublesome ones seems pretty appropriate, all things considered. Ooh. And that's her like concealing it too.
それでは
But she's a nameless
第
character.
一次試験の内容を
It's
発
been
表
80
する。
years.
パーティー戦だ。総勢57名。3人1組のパーティーに分かれ試験を受けてもら
Teams of 3, okay.
う。では、
So that'll be 19 teams.
腕輪か。数字が書かれている。第2パーティーだったところか。
Oh, I see. In the middle, it's the
魔力を
Roman
込めるこ
numerals.
とで仲間の腕輪の位置がわかる。 これでパーティーを
Oh, that's handy. Yeah.
しかし
Don't need to play games of whose team are you on, that kind of stuff, trying to remember faces.
くせ者揃いの魔法使いを集めた即席のパーティーでまともな連携を取るのは難しい。
Yeah, it's also testing your ability to work together with people you may not be familiar with.
大事だし、波風立てないように気をつけないと。腕輪の反応はここら辺。
Ooh, that was a fun first-person POV. Oh, it's these two! Awesome! I don't know their names. But they look like... they look like children. Oh, and Ferns with you, Belle.
よろしくお願いします。
I feel nothing but
第
unease.
一次試験の具体的なルールを説明する。この試験区域にはシュティレという小鳥が生息している。
Stile.
各パーティーにつき一つカゴを配布しておいた。第一
Assume
次
you
試
have to
験の
defend
合
them.
格条件は2つ。明日の日没までにシュティレの入ったカゴを所持していること。
Capture the flag.
その時点でパーティーメンバー全員が揃っていることだ。
Oh no. Okay, you need to also have everyone available. So either take somebody out or basically take their bird.
その
They're
所属パ
stealing
ーティー全員をその場で失格処分とする。
and stay within the bounds, of
この
course.
ように塵一つ通さないような強力な結界を張っておいてよく言うぜ。 出られるわけないのにね。
Frieren's just
説明は
there.
ちゃんと聞いてるんだ。
それでは
At least they're doing that
第一次
much,
試験
yeah.
を開始する。
まずは作戦を立てるべきだって。バカかお前。
First of all, you should probably give that to me. But also, I don't know if Frieren cares enough to interject. She doesn't really want to be here anyways, so sure she's just gonna roll with it.
あと、カゴを
I didn't even
持
notice
つ
she
の
was
はじゃん
there.
けんで決めなさい。
There you go.
私はフリーレン。
Tell me they're both gonna hold it.
ラビーネ。
Okay, she got
3
it.
級魔法使いだ。
La
カンネ
Wine.
だよ。同じく三級魔法使い。ラビーネとは幼馴染で、同じ魔法学校の出身だよ。
I can
二人は
tell.
シュティレに
You
関
two
する
seem quite
知識
close to each
はある
other.
いいよ。
ないよ。
私は知識はあるけど、実物は見たことがないから。
Even you've
まず
never
はシュテ
seen
ィレを
one.
見つけて観察してみようか。
Endangered or just incredibly rare? And more fighting, yeah. They're definitely close. Still, I'd be careful trying to follow tracks. Seems like the easiest way to walk into a trap.
少し休憩しようか。
She's tired. She looks a lot more fit than the other
私はま
one.
だ動けるから先見てくるよ。
まとま
Maybe
って動い
it's just
た
a
方が
stamina
安全だ
issue.
って。
うっせえな。それだと効率悪いだろうが。
ラビーネは強いの？
こいつよりはな。
やんのかこら。
私と比べたら。
あんたとは戦いたくね
Okay. She's got a good intuition.
いいよ、見てきな。危なくなったら戻ってくること。
え。あ、
それと空には気をつけてね。
わかってるよ。
That was an interesting test. See how
この
careful
パー
she
ティー
is.
大丈夫かな。
フリーレン、なんだか先生みたい。リーダーに向いているんじゃない？
カンネたちが喧嘩して
Strong
い
agree.
るせいだよ。仕切りたいわけじゃない。
ごめんね。
Just trying to separate you
私た
guys.
ち昔からこんな感じなんだ。
Not a feeling.
ところで、空に気をつけろってどういうこと？
そのままの意味だよ。
お
魔力探知苦手？
なんで？
おい、
Yeah, why?
シュ
That
ティレ見つけたぞ。
sounds concerning. Wow, that was fast.
よくやったラビーネ。じゃあよく観察して。観察しろって言ったのに逃げられるの？
いや、上出来だぜ、カンネ。
Oh. Wow.
やるじゃん。
Is that water manipulation or like
でも
using wind to
そろ
pick
そろ
up
伏せた方
water?
がいいかも。
は？なんで？
She can freeze. Whoa!
シュティレは極めて頑丈で最大飛行速度の
Dang
変速を超える。
They'll do that while frozen?
マジかよ、もう見えねえぞ。
惜しかったね。
捉えるにはよく観察する必要がある。
No rushing into things. Got
観
it.
察に使うよ。カンネが
Take our
水を
time.
操り、ラビーネがそれを凍らせた。息を合わせたような的確なタイミング。高度な
Despite their
連携
fighting,
だ。
yeah.
一朝一夕でできるようなものじゃない。どうなることかと思っていたけれども、これならなんとか。
すぐに追うぞ。
As long as they don't start fighting when the actual other teams appear.
ダメだ。また喧嘩してる。
Yeah. For the non-confrontational Frieren, this is the worst possible team to be paired up with. Or maybe the best possible team. Being confrontational will probably just make things worse. Just 23 hours a day. I'm almost surprised they're not wrestling in their sleep.
フリーレンがいない。
Where's that
やっぱ
sound?
りこれって小さいけど
Yeah.
雨音だ。
I was gonna say, it doesn't look like it's raining, but it sounds like it. Is it like outside the barrier or something?
降っていないのになんで。あ、そういうことか。ってことはもしかして。魔物。
Oh! Where did that thing come from? Jeez! Thing came out of nowhere. For as big as it is, it's like an owl. Just silent.
ラビーネ。
Frieren? Yeah. Don't tell me you used her as bait.
空には気をつけろって言ったでしょ。
That's why we got not just small birds around here. Understood.
落ち着いた。ラビーネの名前を呼んでいた。
Hmm.
ラビーネのこと
But they're
嫌いでし
close.
そうだね。
ょ。だよね。なのにどうして二人は連携が取れているんだろう。不思議だ。
Yeah, I guess Frieren wouldn't understand that. Doesn't seem like she had someone like
意
them.
外と臆病で。いざって時に何もできなかったりすることがよくあるんだ。
Freezing up.
初めての飛
It's
行
pretty
魔法の
common.
実習の時もそうだった。
Ooh.
先行った連中、あんな遠くに行っちまったぞ。下は水なんだから死にはしねえよ。勇気がないってんなら蹴り飛ばしてやろうか。
ラビーネなんか嫌い。
知ってるよ。
You don't get it.
いつも私にひどいこと言ってさ。私はね、褒められて伸びるタイプなんだよ。
冗談だろ。優しいパパとママに甘やかされて育った結果がこれだろうがよ。
Personality clash, yeah.
いくらでも優しくしてやるよ。
Will you
私
though?
のいいところ言って。
おいおい、マジで言ってんの
Doesn't
か
seem like your personality. Yeah, as soon as she says go ahead and do it.
頑張っているところ。
Oh, she actually can.
お前のいいところだよ。
It's the one and only. Don't make me give you another one. You know how hard it was to think of that one?
隠れてたくさん努力しているところ。
Oh, she does have more.
気遣いができると。
And super specific ones. Oh.
笑っている顔が可愛いところ。
Oh, that's so cute.
キモ
And then she kicks her. That'll do it. See, this is all you
飛べる
needed.
じゃねえか。お前にはもう優しくしてやんね。
ラビーネは乱暴だけれども、ちゃんと私を引っ張ってくれるんだ。
She cares. She entertained you. She tried to go along with it at least,
意外となんとかなる。
which is really considerate of her.
ところでフリーレン。私、面白いことに気がついたんだけど。
Hmm?
あれって何かの役に立つかな。
I assume it's the rain, the
なるほど。
field keeping the rain
もし
out.
かしたらシュティレを簡単に捉えられるかも。
Oh, that's Fiend? Dang. Oh, cute little Fern always gets me. With that, with her hair ribbon that becomes like the guiding force of this whole AD. It's so incredible. It's such a visually masterful ED. Oh god, and the betrayal of expectations to the piano bit. It's so incredible. And then just immediately coming in full force. It's so good. Oh, this ending is so good. Anytime. Anytime. I'm anywhere. 絶対なんてなくて。その波。Her lying with the grave, then her lying with Fern. So good. So this looks like it's gonna be our next like longer arc. Next time, well-laid plans. Well, you're probably tired of hearing it, but I'm certainly not tired of saying it. Another incredible episode. Another wonderful episode, and a great introduction to what seems like our next longer term arc, I suppose. Which I guess has been fairly overdue, but I guess it's not quite fair saying that either, because I mean, the show isn't about the long arcs, right? It's about the vignettes, and these are just ones that happen to take a little bit longer. I won't really go through the opening. Again, I'll save that for the stream that'll be coming up, but I really like this one. We finally reach Authorst. Oysert, I guess. Oysert. We finally reach Oysert, and we have some certification issues. So I don't have to be one to get certified. I won't be able to use it for long. You should get it. And then Fern mentions that only a handful of the most skilled mages have ever gained a first class certification. But later they say there's like 45 of them, right? That's a pretty large handful. But they also have, this is like only 7. And the one in the middle, that's definitely the person in the opening who seems to be a woman, but I don't want to judge preemptively. So I don't know if I'm misreading this or if it's like a translation thing, but there was 45, right? I guess we'll see later in the episode. In the meanwhile, we learned that the northern plateau is quite dangerous, but for them to restrict it to only first class is certainly quite serious, because there aren't very many of them. However, like 2,000 mages. And then we get some pouty Frieren, and it's super cute. And she pouts, she tries to mope, and then she finds something to mope about even more. Perfect. Great, super cute. Mana isn't the only factor that determines a mage's strength. Technique, experience, spell use, their control, all of which you're also a master of, by the way. So effort and tenacity, those ones, I mean, are probably a little bit less you, and talent is you. Yeah, most of those are you. And this is really interesting. And also a very conspicuous jump cut to a new character. So she's only lost to 11 people who have less mana than her. 4 of them were demons. One of them being Qual, another one I would assume being Aura. One was an elf like me, probably the one in the opening, and the remaining 6 were humans. And I've got a sneaking suspicion that we just met one of them. It's a little bit too convenient, a little too incidental that we immediately cut to this new character who is a warrior, like Stark was saying, warrior traits, and is also a mage, and is very laid back and hot. I mean, what? I mean, strong. I mean, capable. I mean, shit. Ubel the mage. Ubel the mage. And we also run into Craft again. And once again, a reminder that we don't really have elves around. A tremendously skilled mage. She's definitely one who's beaten Frieren before. But she's really young, it looks like, too. Probably, like, either her late teen years or even, like, in the 20s, maybe? If that. So is she lost to her recently? Or is she older than she looked? I don't know. Or maybe she's just not one of the 11, but she definitely seems like she would be. Or maybe that cut is supposed to imply that she's going to be a 12th. I don't know. How shrewd. You're no fun. Bye-bye. Taking the first class mage exam. We see a little gem tied to a string. I wonder if that's like a monosaurus or if it's just something that's close to her. It's also conspicuous, though. It's very noteworthy, so I'm curious about that. And then we get a 2-month time skip that you need at least 5th class mages, which Fern is a 3rd class, so she can participate, but Frieren does not have a certification, but she has her little antique emblem, and it seems like that's enough. This older man seems to recognize it, which is interesting because he doesn't look like he's older than the team's party, than the hero's party, but they don't know it either. So maybe he knows it from like people who pass it on, or maybe it's like if he's clergy, then it's something that a symbol that they still recognize, even if it's outdated. And I really like this. This is really cool. Like, it's a very, I mean, there's nothing special about cutting to the past with like our main characters in the same place and like the background still being the same like city. The show itself has done it several times, but I really like how we see this like fairly developed medieval town here with this fountain and this nice little road, these sidewalks, road, I guess, not really. And then we shift back to the old times and the fountain is just a well. There's trees growing all around. There's barely even a sidewalk. And it just looks so much older, right? This looks almost like a village more than a town. But there is still the wall that seems to have grown quite large. But, I mean, as a perfect signifier of how much things have changed, the wall is, like, smaller than the house in front of it. Yeah, the house that's in front of it is now larger than the wall, unless that's like part of the wall. It could be because there's like arches building out of it. But I think the wall behind it, and that building that's like behind it but reaching up almost near the top of the screen. So the fact that these houses are all so small and the wall is towering over it, but in the present day the houses are even larger, and from this perspective we can't even see a lot of the wall because of the house. It's just such a great show of how short 80 years seems, because Frieren still looks the exact same, yet how different it is for humans, because 80 years is a long time. It's a long time of development, of growing this town into the bustling center of magic that it is now. Oysert. I can't be bothered to join everyone, and they keep changing, so there's no point. And then they say a super wholesome thing. We recognize it. Isn't that enough? And then they say it too. I won't linger too much on this. It's not a big gripe, but the show is pretty on the nose with them saying the same thing. I mean, at the very least, they didn't say something like, isn't that enough? They didn't completely mirror it, so it's fine. It's just having it like immediately one after the other. It's like, yeah, they're not subtle. And I guess they're not really trying to be, but it is what it is. According to the Continental Mage Association's regulations, they become a proper mage once they've achieved at least 5th class. So only proper mages allowed in this test, this exam. When you include apprentices from 6th to 9th class, there are 2,000 mages total, and 45 are 1st class. So that's what, 0.05%? Or 0.5? No. 2,000, so 200 would be 10%. So it's like 5% of them are 1st class, about. Which is quite a lot more than like the 7 we saw before, so I don't know about that. Maybe it's just they're doing research now, but it seems like Frieren is kind of caught up on it, but it's very dangerous. People are going to die. Figured as much. And we go through a nice little 2-month montage with a massive freaking cake. And then we enter and we see quite a bit of people who we'll probably be seeing more of in the coming episodes. We develop this exam arc a little more. We got Virbel, 2nd class mage and captain of the Northern Magic Corps. He's fought against the remnants of the Demon King's forces for years. Denken, the crafty old 2nd class mage, won a bloody power struggle to become an Imperial mage. Medieval politics. Nothing quite like it, is there? And Fern gets a call out here, which is super cool. The youngest mage to ever receive a 3rd class certification with top marks. That's awesome. Good for you, Fern. Love to see it. And then Ubel, the 3rd class mage, who failed the 2nd class exam after killing the person who proctored, the 1st class mage who proctored it 2 years ago. And now she's back doing it again. So, I mean, first of all, this perfectly describes her as a troublemaker, right? I mean, she, whether intentionally or not, probably having fun or maybe getting a little bit out of control. Maybe the proctor tried to calm her down, she killed him. So it shows that she's a troublemaker and that she even hinders herself sometimes with it. But even more than that, it shows that she killed a 1st class mage, right? It shows that she is as strong, if not stronger, than 1st class mages, which is such a great subtle way of building her up even more than that transition we had earlier. I'm terrified of her in the best way possible. Ubel is going to be quite a character moving forward, I can tell. So we got 19 parties with bracelets that let you identify who is in your team. So she goes over and we get this really nice 1st-person POV. I like the very subtle bouncing of somebody walking, and of course the different layers of these groups of people creates a nice 3D kind of effect. It's just nice, very small, but. And first impressions are everything, as Frieren says. And Fern is with Ubel. I'm terrified. I don't like that. So they each get a cage. Small birds known as stelae live within the testing area and apparently not very anywhere else, really. Each party has 1 cage. Okay, yeah, so they don't automatically have a stelae. I kind of missed that. So that's why they're trying to catch one. Makes sense. And that's why it's part of the... I really like that. That's why that's part of the exam, because... That's really interesting. So they actually need to capture the stelae, which we see is incredibly difficult. So this is actually a surprisingly thorough first part of the exam, because like Frieren said, it's not just about how strong you are. It's about it's about how creative you are trying to capture them. It's about how good you are at hunting them down, finding them in the first place, right? Unless you just want to stumble upon them, which is not the most reliable of strategies. You need to be clever enough to figure out how to capture them, knowledgeable enough to know what they may be weak to capture them, and you need to have the abilities, not just brute force, but the ability to capture a stele without killing it. And capturing it is clearly easier said than done, since even despite being trapped in a frozen cage, it can shatter itself out and just fly away at the speed of sound. So it's a surprisingly thorough test. You need a lot of different skills to come together to have it, and everyone needs to be around, so you need to work together as a team. There are so many different elements that are coming together for this, which is great. So we meet Lawin and Kane, who seem to be, I don't know, maybe like 16, 15. Or I guess they graduated school, so I don't know, maybe they're like, maybe they're as old as 19. But they're quite adorable. They're quite the fun pair and perfect for the non-confrontational Frieren. And this is a great test too from Frieren. How strong are you? Certainly stronger than her. Compared to me, I wouldn't want to fight you. Frieren pushing her away. This is great. I love this. Frieren's obviously concealing her magic, so Lawin wouldn't see this like insanely massive power. She would probably see like the experienced mage that Frieren's presenting herself as, but she doesn't see even like a fraction of Frieren's actual power. So the fact that she still says, I wouldn't want to fight you, tells us that, while also saying that she's stronger than her friend here, seems quite capable. It shows that she is strong, she knows she's strong, but she's not overconfident, as it seems Yubel probably is. Lawin is cautious. She's not willing to assert something she doesn't know. So she's aware of her own weaknesses and of people who may be stronger than her. And since she's going out and searching for these stelae, since she's going out on reconnaissance, that's the ideal trait to have, right? If you run into somebody you don't know who they are, you don't know what they're capable of, you don't want somebody who thinks they're the shit. Maybe you do. If you're like Yubel, then you can probably just take somebody out. You can certainly try, but what if Lawin runs into a Frieren, right? What if she runs into a Yubel? This cautiousness, this desire to, this knowledge of oneself not being the shit is perfect for reconnaissance. And it's a great subtle test of whether she's good for it. And she actually does it. She finds it super quickly. So she's apparently good at reconnaissance. But she's not good at observing, it seems. Because she is confident in their abilities, and both of them are, Lawin and Kane. And this thing is like fully trapped. I mean, it's like pinching it, but its wings are trapped. How in the world, the amount of force it has to generate from absolutely still, the amount of inertia it has to fight against to just soar off like that, that's insane. You'll need a lot more than that, yeah. And you also need to be good at observing, exactly. But they're incredibly good because they've clearly been together a lot and they're super cute together. You can tell they've been together for quite a while, that they've grown up together. And then we hear the sound of rain, and I assume what she finds is that the rain is being kept out by the barrier. I'm really curious how that's going to play into catching a stele, or it could just be something else entirely, which also, whatever it is, it seems to be that they're going to be using it for the future. Frieren asks about how they work well together because it makes sense she wouldn't be aware of these sort of dynamics, I suppose, of people who grew up together, who butt heads but are still really close and can depend on each other. And Kane mentions that she fails to act during critical moments, which is probably why she depends on Lawin to help her. The ones who left, other people who are flying. You have water beneath you. It's not like you'll die. I don't think you know how water works. If you jump from high enough, that becomes concrete. You are probably gonna die. But in the world of magic, who knows? Maybe she can catch her fall. Want me to kick you? But she'll do anyways. And then, you're always so mean to me. I'm the kind of person who grows with praise, you know? This is what happens when you grow up babied by a kind mommy and daddy. I like this scene. I like how the show doesn't really take a side here. I mean, the conclusion is, or the outcome is that Lawin is kind of right that kicking her does work, but it doesn't really dismiss Kane here either. And I feel like depending on how you grew up, you're going to have a very different perspective on this. I think the show perfectly illustrates the two sides of it. The people who feel like they grow with praise and that they do their best when they're being encouraged, versus people who probably had a rougher upbringing, who learned that just diving in head first is the best way to do it. Neither way is correct, despite what you may think. And despite what I may think, I personally think that I grow with praise too, that I do best when I'm encouraged. But at the same time, there are times when I do best when people just give me tough love and push me into something. I think that works a lot less often because I'm someone who's very self-critical, so I really don't need the criticism of other people to push me in. I give myself plenty of tough love, which is probably why I prefer praise personally. But at the same time, I can't really dismiss what Lawin says here either, because I did grow up in a very comfortable house. I had a nice, healthy, happy, upper middle class upbringing in a first world country in America. So I had a good life. I wouldn't say I was babied, but perhaps I would think differently and I would be less praise seeking and like validation seeking, I suppose, if I grew up like, let's say, where I am now in Chicago, in a much less well-off neighborhood, perhaps. I like that the show doesn't take a side one way or the other. It presents that she thinks she grows with praise, and she does seem to feel better, and that's valid. While at the same time, kicking her off does end up working. Is it for the best? We don't know. We don't know how Kana really thinks about it. But the fact that we flash back here after Kane says that she freezes up in important moments, implying that here she's frozen up, it does seem to imply that the kick is useful, that she depends on Lawin, and she called out her name because when she freezes up, she needs somebody to push her out and do something. So I suppose it is leaning more in the direction of Lawin here. But I really like the fact that however much she doesn't want to do it, however hesitant she is, Lawin actually does do it. And she names some really strong strengths, really specific ones, even if the first one is certainly a backhanded compliment. You try really hard, even though you're a sniveling wimp and a pathetic little coward who freezes up in the most important points. Okay, maybe she doesn't say all that, but like, you didn't need the coward part. You try really hard, even though you tend to freeze up. Something like that would be nicer, but Lawin is not the kind of person who minces her words, so it's nice that she does this. You try really hard. And that's probably the most important strength. She does her best. That's not something you can learn, right? That's something that you do, and you work really hard in secret. You are a hard trier. And then this one, which I really love. You're considerate and pay attention to your surroundings. What an oddly specific praise that you don't just give anyone, right? You don't walk up to a girl in a bar and say, "Hi, I want to talk to you because you're really pretty and you pay attention to your surroundings. You're considerate like that." You don't just say that. You only say that to somebody you know, and somebody you know is considerate, and somebody who is self-aware, who is aware of their surroundings. Not self-aware, the opposite, who is aware. And ironically, this also reflects kind of onto herself, because they're both considerate. If Lawin wasn't considerate, she just wouldn't do this. She would have done what she does a second later and just kicks her off. She actually does try to do what's best for Kana and what she really wants, because she cares, and it's clear that she cares. And you're cute when you smile. Oh, that's so sweet. Ew. Bump. Such an awesome gag. Whee! Boing. I love how her Kane's her sitting stance doesn't even move as she flies off. She's like still sitting as she just falls down, and then she falls apart. Straight into the camera, and we use that to zoom up into. And she's a little pleased she got to do that. After all the effort she took to give her compliments, that's how you treat me. You deserve this kick. And then it works. I'm done being kind to you. You can be kind to yourself. I'm going to give you the push you need. Exactly. She's rough, but she pulls me along with her. Because of her, I can manage most things if I just go for it, even if I'm scared. So yeah, it is important just to get that kick, whether you can do it yourself. But it also does seem like there's a bit of, maybe not dependency, but there's a lot of, without Lawine, I don't know which one it is. I think it's Lawine. Without Lawine, Kane is a lot less capable. And it seems like she doesn't have a lot of self-confidence instilled. It seems like she's very much tying her ability to dive into things with Lawine. She doesn't believe that she can do that herself, at least not yet. So it seems like that's something that she may hopefully be able to develop herself. Because with the bird, I mean, admittedly, she didn't have a lot of options, but she basically did give up, and she basically did depend on her friend to rescue her. So it's nice that she doesn't like resent Lawine for this. Maybe she does appreciate that Lawine tried. She gave her some very solid, very specific good points, but she does kind of still think that Lawine, she needs her to give her that push, which you could say is a good bit of self-analysis, of self-awareness. I guess the only thing that would determine whether it's like something she needs to really improve upon is whether she's aware that the ideal is to not need Lawine. Whether she does or not, we don't really know, but I really like their dynamic. I really like their relationship. It's really cute and it's really fun. And of course, Frieren's reactions to them are really great. I'm enjoying this a lot, and I can't wait to see how this arc continues to build out. If you're excited too, again, subscribe to get notified as soon as new one comes out. If you did like it, please do like it and leave a comment, whether it's about the episode, something I missed, a misunderstanding I had. I have this all the time. Or it's something I said that you agree or disagree with, or something you just want to build off on. I'd love to see you down there. I read every single one without exception. And lastly, if you haven't already, go ahead, join my Patreon, check out my poll, vote for what will replace JJK, and eventually what will replace Frieren. My poll video has my describing my new schedule, so what different polls will be on there. So check that out if you're interested. But whatever you do, thank you so much for watching. That's what really matters. And until the next one, have a lovely rest of your day.